Hi guys. So today I wanted to talk about something that greatly affects me at the moment. It's something that I'm struggling with, and I was hoping that other people may be able to relate to it or maybe find some type of help from this video, even if it's just a little. So the topic of this video is going to be life after high school. I graduated high school in May of 2015, and so I thought that I'd write down some tips that I've recently discovered upon graduating, and I hope other people can relate to them. So my first tip is try to prepare as much as possible. Graduation will be here before you know it. I have it wrote down. But that tip is so true because I remember approaching 9th grade like, oh, I have 3 years until graduation. And at the time that seemed like such a long time, but it's honestly not. Those years are going to fly by before you know it. And you just want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row when graduation gets here. Now, I wasn't somebody that had to worry about trying to hurry up and pull my GPA up or anything like that because honestly, I'm paranoid and anything and everything felt like it would mean not graduating for me. Like that one project for me felt like it would be not passing the class, which would directly mean not graduating. I was fortunate enough to graduate and honor graduate in my class, but that came through hard work. And that leads into my next tip. Start early. Senior year is not the time to start worrying about your class rank and your GPA. If you really want a chance to be competitive against other people in your county, then you really need to start freshman year because freshman year is the hardest to make up. If you fail a class freshman year, you can pass all the rest of the time through high school, but that's really going to plummet your GPA. Like, I can't stress it enough. Going into high school, they tell you that freshman year is your most important, but they're really not lying. A lot of people come in and they're just adjusting to being a high school student, or at least where I live, because we do have junior high school and then high school separated. And a lot of people come in and, you know, kind of like freshmen in college where they start partying more than they're getting their work done, and it always catches up to you in the end. My next tip is to take advantage of all scholarships and opportunities and be aware of deadlines. It's not going to benefit you much if you have a scholarship opportunity and you decide that you would like to do it and then the deadline just comes and goes. I remember that being one of the worst feelings ever. Try your best to map out what you have to do and so that you can set time aside and make time for everything you need to do. But scholarships are a really great opportunity that shouldn't be passed up if you're somebody that's interested in going to college. Okay. My next tip is, I'm going to have to read this one, it's a little long. Understand that some things may not go according to plan and always have a backup plan for your backup plan. This is your future we're talking about. Now, sometimes, things don't go the way you thought they would. One small thing can change the course of your entire list of plans, and you have to make sure you have something else that you can turn to if things don't work out. That's not to say that your original plan will not work, but you need to be able to think, well, what if my original plan doesn't work? Now, for me, that's kind of what I'm going through, but I was fortunate enough to come up with a backup plan because I did not plan on going to school in August because I was thinking that I would be going off with the military, but it didn't turn out that way. I actually won't be leaving until May of 2016. So I'm starting school in the spring instead of in the fall. That was a lot for me to deal with at first because it's something about starting school late that made me feel like I was a slacker. And I really had to get over that because in reality, there wasn't anything that I could do. I spoke with my recruiter and I was under the impression that as the end of summer approached, I would be getting ready to go to basic training, but it's honestly not his fault or my fault. Things just don't turn out the way you think they will sometimes. So I will say, always make sure you have a backup plan. And that leads me into my last and final tip. Tip number 5. Understand that inevitably things will always turn out the way they're meant to in the end. Like I said, adjusting to this life of not being gone with the military, but also not being in college and watching all of my friends go to college, it was a little depressing at first, but luckily I had people around me that love me and support me. And they let me know that just because you're starting later doesn't mean that you're any less than anybody else. And that I still do have great opportunities afforded to me. And things will always turn out the way they're meant to. I ended up finding a job. And so now I'm just saving my money until school starts. But I now am comfortable with the fact that I didn't start school in the fall, even though that's something I would have liked to do. But the spring semester will be here before I know it, so I don't really have to stress about it anymore. And senior year can be one of the hardest years. It feels like you're about to graduate high school and go right into adulthood, and that's honestly what it is. So just take time to relax a little, and things will work itself out, especially if you've done what you need to do for the last 4 years. If you haven't, you can still play catch up. It's going to be a little bit more work, but it doesn't mean that it can't be done. So that's all the tips that I have for you guys today on life after high school. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more to come.